But the future of Downton Abbey is now in Mary's hands.
The grand finale was fantastic. And it got me thinking about the fact that for the last 15 years, we've gotten to watch these characters kind of change and evolve in a time period where there are a lot of like seismic shifts happening around the world. And I'm curious, it kind of got me thinking about the film industry and how much has changed in the last 15 years. And I'm curious, what is kind of the biggest change from filming your first episode of Downton Abbey to filming this movie? It could be something like the way that the costumes have evolved or the kinds of cameras being used, or what have you kind of seen change from that first episod to now?
Such a great question.
I think the most significant thing possibly is the lighting, because the cameras have got far more technically advanced. Do you remember with Nigel Willoughby's episodes? They were so dark. He used to create this extraordinarily dark, particularly in the library, I remember, because he wanted
Downton in the dark.
It was Downton in the dark.
You couldn't see anyone.
And and you still have whopping great big lamps, but they're not nearly as hot and intense as they used to be. I can remember in the first season when there was no electricity in the dining room, and so the windows were all blacked out, and you had candles, so that was hot enough, and then you had fairly hot lights, and by 11 o'clock the salmon was smelling pretty honky.
Yeah.
But then now the lighting's evolved, LED and all sorts of, I don't know, clever gizmos they can use, and also as I say, the sensitivity of the cameras is so much more intense that the lighting is much more subtle and less invasive than it used to be. That's one thought.
I think about it a lot because, we were filming a Sunday night TV show for ITV, and I really thought the greatest thing that was happening because of the ratings was because we were following the X Factor in the UK. And I was like, that's why we're getting 9 million views. It's because it's following the X Factor. And then it just sort of kept happening, and then it sort of went global. And that idea was new, for me, I think, really. That kind of golden age of TV was just starting. And it was suddenly at the Emmys and things with Mad Men, and, The Sopranos had just ended, and it was all changing. And yeah, I think it was such a rare thing. I think it was the beginning of that change within TV, where people really started investing their money and people watching television. Twitter was new. I remember showing Hugh how to use Twitter. That's how old we are.
That's crazy, isn't it? That is crazy. I remember us talking about, should you get Twitter? I don't know.
I know.
What do we think?
What do we think?
Yeah, I remember that. And stuff, in terms of technical changes on set, when we first started, no one used drones.
Yeah.
Now drones are a big thing, and rightly so, because you can get some
it
stunning shots
so good.
Drone shots. And there's always, in every show now, there's usually a drone shot of some sort. So that's something sort of practically on set that's shifted and changed. But as Laura was saying, definitely in the UK is when Downton started. It was very much before Downton, it was, for a time, it was very much the era of reality TV. And, it's usually relatively cheap TV to make, and it's often very, very popular. And, people had stopped spending money on drama, really, and ITV took a punt on Downton, and it was a show that, connected with people, and people kind of stood up and said, no, we want great fiction, we want great story. And like you say, with shows like Mad Men in the States that were a few seasons, before, a few years before us. And
it was before Netflix, it was before that time where things changed.
Yeah.
And we got to go and witness things over here changing so much. And it was just so exciting for us. And we couldn't believe we were being talked about in the same breath as these incredible American shows. It was really unbelievable.
Breaking Bad.
Yeah. And, we'd come over and people knew who we were, and that was just so nuts.
Drones have become very prevalent as well.
Yeah.
So you get some spectacular shots.
Yes, but use them sparingly.
Yes.
But also, it was throughout this show, as you say, 15 years, we've learnt, and the crew have learnt as well to adapt. And as Hugh brought up, the idea of the salmon slowly curling at the edges on day 2, suddenly they began to use chicken for fish. Do you remember that they would make the chicken look like cod, or they would disguise it to make it so you wouldn't have the fish smell there for 3 days, except for the south of France, where we sat at a table where they had lobster tails, and it was 98 degrees basically for 2 days solid. And on the second day, at the end of the day, I had to crack open one of the tails that had been sitting there, and it went straight in my face. It was disgusting.
Oh my gosh. Now I'm wanting to know what the catering was like as well, because I feel like there's probably no lobster tails. That would be putting you completely off that, it feels like.
No, well, yeah, I've never been on a film set where they offered lobster tails. I can't wait for that one. Yeah. I think that's more of a HBO vibe.
You're right there. Your characters have had such an indelible impact on fans around the world. And I'm curious, for each of you, walking away from these characters now, what parts of them are you taking with you that kind of clung to you now?
I like to think that I'll be able to step into the headspace of Edith, of the confidence that the family walk around the castle with, owning every room. It's a real ease with yourself. Even when Edith was slightly more shy, there was still the confidence of their privilege. And it's nice to think that I can put that hat on if I needed it.
Oh, none of it, I hope. I suppose there's a bit of each character in each of us. That's, we meet, I suppose we meet some of the characters halfway, between the actor and the character. But I'll certainly miss his big, open, generous heart. I hope I can have some of that.
That's a good one. Hugh, Alan, for you?
I think that's absolutely true. And I think it really comes down to Julian Fellowes' writing, in that in all of these characters, there is an inherent kindness, I suppose, or a goodness. As he always says, I write from the default position that people try to be good. They may do wrong things. Even Thomas Barrow and who knows what happened to Miss O'Brien, but in those first episodes when you saw them out the back of the castle having a cigarette, therefore they were the baddies, plotting and scheming. But as the stories progressed, you see this extraordinary chart of a journey for Thomas Barrow, and you begin to understand him and why he's done some of the things he does, or the hurt that he's experienced, because he can't find his own place in society in that era. And then finally, it's a wonderful triumph that he does, and you see that there's a good soul in there who's found a degree of happiness at long last. And I think that's true for all the characters. So I look back with great fondness on Robert as a man of, I suppose, conservative by birth, but liberal by nature, and certainly full of compassion. And I think I share that with other characters, and something we can all aspire to.
With Anna, I think her courage, I think she's a really good person, but she has the courage of her convictions, and actually to follow through on your values takes real strength. And because she's an extremely good person, which is actually very rare, but she's not a walkover. She's not a people pleaser. She's got good boundaries, which is the expression we all use in today. But so yeah, she's got a toughness about her that I admire greatly.
I think I would love to be more like Tom in his kind of ethos of I don't believe in types, I believe in people. I think if we all thought a little bit more like that, the world would be a much better place.
I love that. That's a great answer. I always really hyperfixate on historical costumes. My background was in history and museums, so costuming is something I'm very passionate about. And I think menswear often gets overlooked in that conversation. So I would love to know, for each of you, was there a particular costume over this, expanse of 15 years that you had a particular fondness that your character got to wear on screen and you wish maybe you could have taken home with you?
One of my many black dresses.
You're wearing one today.
Over to you. I know exactly. I've taken a bit of Anna.
There was a wool cashmere suit that I think was made for season 4, I'm going to guess, that was so comfortable. And I tried to liberate that from the wardrobe department, but unfortunately they caught me. and kept it. I think it's probably been put in a museum now.
Probably on tour somewhere.
Yeah.
I loved the fact that I felt I went from one uniform being the chauffeur, and then it genuinely felt like another uniform when I had to wear white tie and tails sitting at the dining room table. It was just considered to be, you know, a better uniform in a way. And I was always aware of that. And I loved the transition then into the softer fabrics and the stuff we got to wear in the French Riviera. The double-breasted linen suit that Anna Robbins, our brilliant costume designer, tried to gift me after it was all finished. But she sent me Harry Hatton Payton's, which he has aristocratic arms. He can only pick up pens to sign checks. So I can't get mine into the suit. And he caught me yesterday at the premiere and went, "Send me that suit." So I have his suit, and mine's in an exhibition now, so I'm never going to get it.
There was this coat, it must have been in the 6th series, because I was going on a date with Bertie. And we were going out, and I had been in my London flat, and he was helping me on with this jacket, and it's an original coat, and it's this sort of beautiful silk patterned fabric with a fur collar that Bertie helped me on with it, and it sort of flicks, and then he gave me a kiss for the first time. So it was a real, like, Anna just thought of this. She'd found it, and then she went, "I know exactly when we're going to use it," because it's so part of the action. And it's just amazing. And I remember trying it on in the fitting and being like, this is so cool. And, you know, you would wear it today. It's one of those ones that is just really cool. So I do think about that one. I wish I had that.
Kevin, did you
I just had 15 years of discomfort.
No, but what about the costumes?
Oh, the costumes. No, I had 10 years of discomfort, and then he moved into a nice sort of suit when he became a teacher. So that was good. Yeah, that was nice.
And for my last question for both of you, what is one piece of Downton Abbey that you wish you could have taken away from you, whether it be a prop or a costume piece or something like that?
The painting of Charles I that's worth £17 million.
Yeah, maybe that. Keep that one. Yeah, that's a good gift.
I'd have that, yeah.
Yeah, they didn't gift it to us. It's very
they didn't want us to take it. I have no idea why.
But yeah, maybe the jacket. And then I feel like something... Yeah, I mean, I have lots of those like table cards from the dining room. But like we spent so much time there. The little pepper pots we used to love playing with as a souvenir. We wished we'd swiped those, but we're too well behaved.
Yeah. I have got Anna's shoes. Our wonderful costume designer, Anna Robbins let me keep Anna's shoes because I'd worn them since season 3 and I never wanted a new pair because I was very attached to this particular pair of shoes. So I've kept those. Yeah.
I love that. Well, thank you both so much. This film is incredible. The 3 of you are remarkable and this movie is fantastic. And thank you for being such a big part in so many of our lives.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.